Have you ever wondered why some people seem to move through life with purpose, confidence, and calm, while others drift aimlessly, never quite finding their way? Why do some rise above circumstance while others surrender to it? The answer, my friend, lies not in chance nor in fate, but in understanding one timeless truth. We become what we think about. This is not merely a phrase. It is the fundamental law upon which all success, all achievement, all fulfillment rests. Everything you see in your life today, your circumstances, your results, your opportunities, began first as a seed planted in your mind. And the way you tend to that garden determines the harvest you reap. Most people never stop to think about what they think about. They allow their minds to drift, like a ship without a captain, tossed by the tides of habit, fear, and doubt. Yet, the moment a person chooses to take command of their thoughts, to direct their mind toward a definite purpose, their life begins to change. Just as a farmer knows that planting wheat yields wheat, and planting thorns yields thorns, so too must we understand that the thoughts we sow produce results of the same kind. Sow fear, reap failure. Sow faith, reap success. Life is not a matter of luck. It is a matter of law. There exists a secret so simple that most overlook it. The strangest secret, Earl Nightingale called it. And it is this: you become what you think about. If you think in positive, constructive, and goal-directed terms, your life will follow that path. If you think in negative, aimless, and destructive terms, that too will manifest. The human mind is the most powerful instrument in the known universe, yet it comes with no manual, no warning label. Most never learn how to use it, but those who do, they rise, they achieve, they become the architects of their destiny. Success, you see, is not a sudden windfall or a stroke of fortune. It is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. A person who deliberately sets out to become something meaningful, and who moves forward day by day toward that goal, is already a success. The teacher who seeks to mold young minds, the artist who pursues truth through beauty, the entrepreneur who strives to build something of value, all are successful because they are living with purpose. The tragedy of life is not in failing, but in failing to aim. It is drifting without a compass, never deciding what harbor one wishes to reach. To live successfully, one must first master the fundamentals, and those fundamentals begin in the mind. Think deliberately. Guard your thoughts as you would guard your treasure. For what you hold in your consciousness will take shape in your world. Make a habit of gratitude, discipline your thinking, set a definite goal, and act with persistence. Each day, remind yourself that you are the captain of your soul, the master of your fate. The tides may shift, the storms may rage, but your direction remains steady, guided by your thoughts, your beliefs, and your ideals. And so, as you walk through this life, remember, you are the sum of your thoughts, the product of your beliefs, and the reflection of your attitude. The mind, like a fertile field, does not discriminate. It grows whatever you plant. So plant wisely, think clearly, act deliberately, and know that in mastering your thoughts, you master the very art of living. For as Earl Nightingale said, your world is a living expression of how you are using and have used your mind each day. From the moment we wake to the time we close our eyes at night, we are surrounded by a world that reflects what we have allowed to take root in the soil of our minds. Look closely and you will see that everything you experience, every success, every setback, every opportunity, is not the product of chance, but the direct result of thought. Life, in its most profound simplicity, is a mirror, and it reflects not what we wish for, but what we think about most often. For thought, persistent and deliberate, is the architect of destiny. It builds, brick by brick, the structure of our character, our habits, our circumstances, and our future. You see, the average person drifts through life like a ship caught in the current, never setting a course, never charting a destination. They allow the winds of chance and the waves of circumstance to dictate their direction. Yet the truth is simple, the ocean is vast, and only those who steer their vessel with purpose will ever reach the shore of fulfillment. The mind, like that ship, was not made to drift. It was made to direct. It is the captain of all achievement, and its rudder is thought. Most people never pause long enough to examine the quality of the thoughts they entertain. They let ideas of limitation, fear, and doubt circulate freely, not realizing that every negative seed planted in the subconscious will eventually grow into weeds that choke the garden of opportunity. Thoughts are living things. They carry a creative power, subtle but absolute. Every invention, every business, every empire, every masterpiece began as a single idea, a vision formed in the quiet recesses of a mind that dared to believe. So it follows, if thoughts can build, they can also destroy. If they can elevate, they can also enslave. The choice always rests with the thinker. Consider for a moment how every great change in your life began. Before any action, before any transformation, there was a thought. Perhaps it came as a whisper. I can do more, I can be more. Perhaps it came in a moment of frustration, a decision that said, enough. From that single decision, that shift in thinking, a chain of events unfolded. Thoughts guide decisions, decisions shape habits, and habits forge destiny. This is the eternal law that governs every life, whether one acknowledges it or not. Now, let us examine the power we hold when we become conscious of this law. When a person decides to direct their mind, to think with clarity, purpose, and faith, they seize control of life itself. It no longer becomes a game of chance but a deliberate creation. The individual who holds a clear goal, who nourishes it daily with belief and effort, moves through the world differently. They walk with confidence, speak with conviction, and act with purpose. Even when obstacles arise, they do not waver, for they know that circumstance bends to will as surely as shadow follows light. The tragedy is not that men and women lack ability, for potential lies dormant in every soul, but that so few learn to use the tool that shapes all reality. They treat their mind as a storeroom for random thoughts instead of a workshop for creation. They focus on what they fear rather than what they desire, forgetting that the mind is impartial. It will bring forth whatever you plant. It does not question whether the seed is fruitful or barren, whether the thought is worthy or wasteful. It simply brings it to life. So, what does it mean to master the fundamentals of life and success? It means first to master the instrument of thought, to become aware, truly aware, that every word you speak, every belief you hold, every vision you nurture is constructing the blueprint of your tomorrow. It means understanding that success is not a mystery to be solved, but a pattern to be followed. A pattern that begins in the invisible realm of ideas long before it manifests in the visible world. There is no magic in this. It is a law as certain as gravity. You become what you think about because your dominant thoughts shape your perception, and your perception shapes your behavior. Behavior, repeated, becomes habit. Habit sustained becomes character, and character determines destiny. So, if you wish to alter your future, do not begin with your circumstances. Begin with your thoughts. Train them as a gardener tends his field, with patience, with discipline, with care. Remove the weeds of fear, plant the seeds of faith, water them daily with gratitude and persistence, and watch as the landscape of your life transforms. For the mind, properly directed, is the greatest force known to man. It can lift you from the depths of despair to the heights of triumph, from confusion to clarity, from mediocrity to greatness, and all of it begins with a single decision, the decision to think differently. There is a truth so profound, so simple, that it has escaped the grasp of most who search endlessly for the keys to success. People look outward, to luck, to circumstance, to timing, never realizing that the treasure they seek lies within, silent and waiting. This truth has been whispered through ages, spoken by sages, proven by experience, yet forgotten in the noise of daily living. It is this: a person becomes exactly what they think about. Not sometimes, not occasionally, but always. Life, in all its vastness, bends itself to the direction of one's dominant thoughts. If your mind is filled with visions of growth, courage, and achievement, your actions naturally align with those ideals. You move with intention, speak with purpose, and act with conviction. Every step you take carries you closer to your goal. But if your thoughts are cluttered with fear, resentment, and doubt, life reflects the confusion. Opportunities pass unseen, and progress becomes a struggle, not because the world is against you, but because your thoughts are. You see, the human mind is not a passive vessel. It is a creative engine. It manufactures reality from raw imagination. Every achievement that has ever existed, every bridge built, every cure discovered, every dream fulfilled, began not in the hands but in the mind. Long before the invention appeared, the idea was conceived. The mind, through sustained attention and belief, transforms intangible thought into tangible form. And that same process operates in every life, whether one chooses to use it consciously or not. Think of your mind as a powerful transmitter, constantly sending out signals that draw back experiences of a similar nature. When you dwell on prosperity, you begin to notice opportunities, people, and circumstances that align with abundance. When you dwell on lack, you attract conditions that reinforce limitation. The law is impartial. It does not favor one person over another. It responds only to the vibration of thought. A farmer who plants corn will harvest corn, not thorns. In the same way, a person who plants constructive thoughts will reap a life of fulfillment, while one who sows fear will harvest struggle and disappointment. But knowing this is not enough. The great difference between those who succeed and those who do not is not intelligence, not background, but discipline of thought. The successful person decides what they want and holds that vision with unwavering focus. They write it down, think about it daily, and take steps toward it with quiet determination. Their mind is a compass pointing always toward the destination they've chosen. Others, meanwhile, think haphazardly, changing their direction with every passing whim. They never decide, and so they never arrive. Clarity of purpose is the first mark of a mastermind. Decide what you want. Be precise. Vague wishes produce vague results. Write it down in clear language, a goal you can see, touch, and measure. Then, imagine yourself already in possession of it. Feel the reality of it as though it were already yours. This simple act of visualization imprints the image upon your subconscious, and from that moment forward, your mind begins working, consciously and unconsciously, to bring it into being. Circumstances rearrange, opportunities appear, and people arrive seemingly by coincidence. But these are not coincidences. They are the natural consequence of a focused, directed mind. Action must follow thought. Thought without action is daydreaming. Action without thought is aimless motion. The combination of both, clear thinking and consistent effort, creates power. Each day, take one deliberate step toward your goal. Do not wait for perfect timing, for it will never come. The world yields to those who move forward with faith. Progress may be slow, but every inch gained in the direction of purpose builds momentum. And momentum, once formed, carries you farther than effort alone ever could. Remember that setbacks are not signs of failure, but tests of belief. The road to any worthy ideal is marked by challenge. Yet the one who persists, who holds their vision even in the storm, finds that difficulty is not an enemy, but a sculptor, shaping strength, resilience, and character. Every challenge overcome is a lesson learned, every delay a teacher in disguise. Success, therefore, is not a sudden explosion of fortune. It is the progressive realization of a worthy goal. The person moving steadily toward a chosen ideal is already successful, for they are living with purpose. They wake each day knowing why they rise, what they seek, and where they're headed. Their peace of mind comes not from possession but from direction, and that is the essence of true success. Not the destination, but the journey guided by thought, belief, and persistent action. Within every human being lies a garden, a silent and fertile field in which the seeds of thought are planted each day. Some plant wisely, sowing ideas of growth, faith, and determination. Others, without care, scatter weeds of doubt, envy, and fear. Yet the law of the garden is unchanging. Whatever is planted will grow. The soil does not question the nature of the seed. It simply yields in abundance what it is given. And so it is with the mind. It accepts whatever thoughts we impress upon it, nurturing them until they blossom into the reality we call life. When one begins to truly understand this, a remarkable shift occurs. You realize that your circumstances are not masters over you, but reflections of you. They mirror the state of your inner world. If your thoughts are harmonious, your life will follow suit. If your thoughts are chaotic, so too will be your experience. The world outside becomes a perfect reflection of the world within. And so, if you wish to change what you see, you must begin not with the mirror, but with the image you project into it. Your mind is a powerful servant but a dangerous master. Left unattended, it will drift into patterns of fear, worry, and complaint, for the human tendency is toward ease, not effort. But effort is the price of mastery. Just as a sculptor shapes stone, so must we shape thought. Each time we entertain an idea, we give it life. Repeated often enough, it takes root. Repeated long enough, it becomes belief. And belief, once formed, governs behavior. So if a person believes they are limited, undeserving, or powerless, their actions will confirm it, and their results will reflect it. Conversely, if one believes in possibility, purpose, and progress, those beliefs manifest as confidence, courage, and eventual success. To direct the mind, one must first guard it. Just as no farmer would leave his field open to every passerby, neither should we allow every stray opinion, negative influence, or idle fear to take residence in our consciousness. Every book we read, every voice we listen to, every environment we place ourselves in acts as a gardener, planting seeds within us. Choose carefully who and what you allow to shape your thinking, for thoughts are contagious, and we often become like those we spend time with. It is not enough to merely remove the weeds of negative thinking. One must replace them with constructive ideas. Nature abhors a vacuum. If we do not fill the mind with purposeful thought, it will fill itself with aimless wandering. Begin each day by planting ideas that uplift and empower. Think on what is good, on what is possible, on what is within your reach if only you persist. Feed the mind with gratitude, for a grateful heart leaves no room for bitterness. Focus on progress rather than perfection, for growth, not arrival, is the true measure of success. The subconscious mind, vast and unjudging, takes every thought as command. It does not distinguish between real and imagined, between fact and faith. It is influenced by emotion and repetition. The thoughts you hold with feeling and consistency are the ones it accepts as truth. Speak to yourself, then, in the language of success. Affirm your goals, visualize your progress, believe that the power to change is already within you. Over time, your subconscious begins to act upon these ideas, guiding your choices, sharpening your instincts, and attracting to you the people and circumstances that match your inner conviction. Every great achievement begins in silence. It starts with an idea, nurtured in solitude, strengthened by belief, and brought forth through persistent action. The world may not see the roots forming beneath the surface, but they are there, growing, anchoring, preparing for the bloom that will one day astonish even the planter. So too it is with the mind. Long before success is visible, it is being cultivated within. The thoughts you nurture today will shape the realities you walk through tomorrow. Guard your mind, then, as you would the gates of a great city. Let no destructive thought enter unchallenged. Replace every "I can't" with "I will." See challenges as teachers, not threats. Where others see obstacles, train yourself to see opportunities. The mind trained in faith and discipline becomes a fortress against fear, a workshop for creation, and a compass that points unwaveringly toward purpose. Every great success, no matter how magnificent its appearance, begins with something so simple, so ordinary, that most overlook it entirely: a plan. Behind every achievement stands a quiet, unwavering formula, a pattern followed faithfully by those who rise to purpose and mastery. It is not a secret locked away from the few, but a truth available to all who care enough to understand it. Life rewards those who live by design, not by default. The difference between those who build and those who drift lies in the clarity of their aim and the consistency of their action. The first and greatest step in that formula is decision. One must decide once and for all what they want from life. Not vaguely, not in half-hearted wishes, but in clear, vivid, measurable terms. The world bends toward the decisive mind, yet most wander through life unsure of their direction, waiting for certainty before committing, never realizing that certainty is born from commitment itself. Decide, and every fiber of your being begins to align with that choice. The mind awakens, the senses sharpen, and the will finds its target. Without decision, energy scatters. With decision, it converges into power. Once the decision is made, the next step is faith. Not blind hope, but a confident trust in the unseen process of cause and effect. Faith is the spark that turns thought into motion, the bridge between the idea and its realization. It does not demand that we see the entire path, only that we take the first step. Just as a seed planted in the earth does not question the soil, faith knows that with the right nourishment and patience, results will appear. Doubt, on the other hand, uproots the seed before it has time to grow. To cultivate faith is to hold steady in purpose, to act daily in harmony with the vision you have chosen, even when progress seems invisible. Next comes consistent action. Every day must bear witness to your intention. Success is not a single leap but a steady march, step by step, hour by hour, guided by persistence. The small disciplines performed faithfully over time carve channels of habit through which energy flows effortlessly. Those who act only when inspired accomplish little. Those who act with discipline, regardless of mood, command the forces of life itself. Remember, the river cuts through stone not by power, but by persistence. In the pursuit of any worthy goal, obstacles will arise. This too is part of the formula. No great structure is built without resistance. It is the resistance that strengthens the builder. Challenges are not signs of failure, but signals of progress, proof that you are advancing into new territory. They test resolve, refine purpose, and temper the spirit. Those who see difficulty as a barrier stop at the first sign of struggle. Those who understand its value press on and find, on the other side, a strength they never knew they possessed. Each obstacle carries within it the seed of growth, and by overcoming it, you expand your capacity for greater things. Another element in this formula is attitude. While decision charts your course, attitude determines how you travel it. A positive attitude is not a naive denial of hardship, but a deliberate choice to see every experience as useful. Every delay as instruction, every setback as temporary. It transforms adversity into fuel, criticism into insight, failure into wisdom. The mind, once fixed on the idea that every event serves its advancement, ceases to complain and begins to create. You cannot control the wind, but you can adjust the sails. Lastly, perseverance binds the formula together. The world makes way for the one who refuses to quit. Talent may open doors, intelligence may plan the route, but perseverance walks it. Most abandon their journey not because their goal is unreachable, but because they surrender too soon. The final mile of every worthwhile endeavor is always the hardest. It is there that the weak turn back and the determined triumph. Each act of persistence is a declaration of faith. Faith in yourself, in your purpose, in the unyielding law that effort brings reward. To live by this formula is to live with power. Decide clearly what you want. Believe wholly in its possibility. Act daily toward its realization. Face resistance with courage, maintain a constructive attitude, and never give in. Life does not withhold success, it simply waits for proof of readiness. And readiness is demonstrated through decision, faith, action, resilience, attitude, and perseverance, the timeless formula by which ordinary lives are transformed into extraordinary legacies. There comes a moment in every life when a quiet voice within asks, "Why am I here? What is my purpose?" Some ignore it, numbing themselves with distractions. Others chase every glittering opportunity, hoping one will hold meaning. Yet fulfillment does not come from motion alone, but from direction. To live with purpose is to live with power, for purpose gives meaning to effort, turns labor into joy, and transforms the ordinary into the extraordinary. Without it, even the busiest life feels empty. With it, even the simplest task shines with significance. Purpose is not something granted, it is something discovered. It begins with reflection, a turning inward to ask, "What stirs my heart? What vision makes me come alive?" Deep within every person lies a calling, unique and unmistakable, a thread that weaves through every passion and interest. It whispers in moments of inspiration and echoes in times of quiet solitude. To ignore it is to live as a stranger in one's own life. To follow it is to walk in harmony with the rhythm of existence. When a person finds a cause greater than comfort, something worth striving for, worth sacrificing for, life ceases to be a struggle and becomes a mission. Those who live with purpose move differently. Their eyes are steady, their steps certain, their will unshakable. They do not measure their worth in possessions or praise, but in progress toward their ideal. Whether the world applauds or condemns them matters little. They know where they are going and why. They rise early not because they must, but because they are compelled by vision. Their energy flows from within, renewed each day by the knowledge that their actions matter. Such individuals do not drift with the current, they direct it. They do not chase approval, they create impact. A purposeful life is built not on wishful thinking, but on clarity. To know one's purpose is to define a goal so worthy that its pursuit refines the soul. This is not a mere task or target. It is an ideal, a standard that calls forth your best self. It may be to uplift others, to build something lasting, to uncover truth, or to express beauty. The form matters less than the intention behind it. The key is that it must engage both the mind and the heart, for only when intellect and emotion unite does one unlock their full strength. Purpose transforms work into worship. It gives endurance to effort, making long days light and challenges bearable. When a person labors for a vision they believe in, fatigue becomes fulfillment. Each obstacle overcome is no longer a frustration, but a stepping stone. Even failure loses its sting, for it becomes a lesson guiding the way forward. Purpose grants perspective. It reminds us that storms are temporary, that trials refine rather than destroy, and that true progress is measured not in ease, but in persistence. Yet purpose demands responsibility. To know your direction is to accept the duty of discipline. You cannot walk two paths at once. The one who lives with purpose must guard their focus, for every distraction steals momentum. They must learn to say no to waste, to negativity, to pursuits that promise comfort but cost meaning. Purpose requires the courage to stand apart, to hold steady when others waver, to walk forward when the crowd retreats. The reward for such courage is not only success but serenity, the peace that comes from knowing you are where you belong. No life devoted to purpose is ever small. Even if unseen by the masses, its influence ripples outward. A kind word spoken, a skill mastered, a vision pursued with integrity. These acts inspire beyond measure. The teacher who awakens a student's curiosity, the craftsman who pours soul into their work, the parent who instills virtue through love. Each serves a noble calling. Greatness is not measured in size, but in sincerity. To live with purpose is to align your thoughts, your actions, and your heart toward a single worthy ideal. It is to wake each morning with direction, to face each challenge with faith, and to rest each night knowing you have given your best. Such a life does not merely happen. It is chosen, shaped by daily commitment. And in choosing it, you awaken the deepest truth of existence, that fulfillment is not found in what you possess, but in what you become while striving toward something meaningful. There is a quiet power that governs all achievement, a law as constant as gravity, yet often overlooked in the rush for quick results. This power is the harmony between thought, belief, and action. It is the understanding that life gives not what we wish for, but what we work for, believe in, and expect. Every person carries within them the capacity for greatness, yet greatness is not an act. It is a habit of mind and spirit. It is built in silence, shaped through discipline, and revealed in the steady unfolding of effort aligned with purpose. To live well, one must understand that success is not a single event, but a process. It is the cumulative result of small choices, each aligned with a definite direction. No one stumbles into mastery, just as no seed bursts into bloom overnight. Progress requires patience, the quiet, unwavering belief that today's effort will bear tomorrow's reward. Those who learn to trust the process, who sow good seeds and tend them faithfully, discover that time is not their enemy but their greatest ally. The impatient search for shortcuts, the wise cultivate roots. The mind, once disciplined, becomes the compass guiding every step. It reminds us that every challenge is part of the curriculum of success. Just as a blacksmith tempers steel through fire, so life tempers character through difficulty. Those who shrink from adversity deny themselves the very training that strengthens their will. Obstacles are not sent to halt progress, but to prove readiness. A goal easily attained is seldom valued. One earned through perseverance becomes part of who we are. Every struggle conquered adds to the foundation upon which true confidence is built. In this pursuit, attitude plays the role of navigator. Two people may face the same storm. One curses the rain, the other plants seeds. Attitude determines which you become. A positive attitude is not mere optimism. It is an act of courage. It is the decision to see beyond appearances, to interpret difficulty as instruction, and to believe that every moment, pleasant or painful, carries meaning. Life responds to the spirit with which we greet it. Approach it with resentment, and it mirrors frustration. Approach it with gratitude, and it returns abundance. Gratitude transforms not circumstances, but perception, and perception shapes reality. To maintain such an attitude demands awareness. Each day, the world will offer countless invitations to fear, complain, and doubt, but the disciplined mind learns to decline these invitations. It remembers that energy follows attention. What we dwell upon expands. Feed resentment, and it multiplies. Feed faith, and it flourishes. Therefore, choose your focus with care. Look for lessons, not losses. See possibilities where others see problems. Direct thought toward solutions, and life will reveal them. Every individual walking the path of success must also embrace responsibility. Freedom without responsibility leads only to frustration. To claim ownership of one's life, to say, "I am accountable for my results," is to seize the steering wheel of destiny. Blame is easy, but it keeps the power outside oneself. Responsibility, though demanding, restores control. It declares that if change is needed, change will begin here with me. Once this mindset takes root, excuses vanish, and progress becomes inevitable. There is, too, a quiet nobility in consistency. The great divide between the dreamer and the door is not talent but tenacity. Most people act when inspired. The disciplined act regardless. Each day they perform the simple, often unseen actions that build momentum. Their faith is expressed not in words, but in routine. Rising early, studying diligently, refining their craft, advancing inch by inch. The world may not notice their effort at first, but time always rewards the steadfast. As rivers carve canyons drop by drop, so disciplined effort shapes destiny act by act. And in the stillness of perseverance, something profound occurs. Character is forged. Character is the invisible architecture supporting all lasting success. It cannot be bought, borrowed, or faked. It is earned through countless choices, doing what is right when no one is watching, keeping promises made in solitude, showing up when quitting would be easier. The person of character carries an inner calm, a quiet authority born not of arrogance but of alignment. They need no applause, for their satisfaction comes from integrity. Such is the essence of mastery: a mind governed by clarity, a heart anchored in faith, and a life directed by purpose. When thought, attitude, and action move as one, they form a force no circumstance can resist. Success is not bestowed, it is built, patiently, persistently, by those who choose to live each day as a testament to the ideals they hold. So in the end, everything returns to one simple truth. Life is not a matter of chance, but of choice. We rise or fall, succeed or struggle, not by the whims of fate, but by the thoughts we hold, the goals we set, and the actions we take. Within each of us lies the same power that has lifted every dreamer, every builder, every thinker who has ever shaped the world. The power of a disciplined mind, a directed purpose, and a persistent spirit. No one is denied the opportunity to grow, only those who refuse to begin remain bound. The road to fulfillment is not hidden. It unfolds step by step before the one who dares to decide, who believes deeply, who acts faithfully. And though storms may come and winds may change, the person who knows where they are going will always find their way. So guard your thoughts, for they are the architects of destiny. Set a goal so worthy that it stirs your soul, and walk toward it each day with gratitude, with courage, and with conviction. Let no fear take root, no doubt take hold, for the world yields to those who master themselves. Remember, success is not a distant treasure. It is the daily expression of purpose, faith, and effort. You already possess all that you need to become all that you desire. The mind is the seed, belief the soil, action the sunlight, and your life the garden. Nurture it with care, and it will bloom beyond measure. For you were not meant to drift. You were meant to direct, to create, to become.